You've probably spent hours this week feeling guilty about a $5 coffee, maybe a fast food run, or an app you barely use. But have you ever done the math on how obsessing over tiny costs can cost you tens of thousands in real money? Here's the truth. Most people waste over 500 hours a year tracking receipts and sweating the small stuff, while letting $50,000 opportunities slip away without a thought. If you've ever felt that anxiety spiral after a small purchase, keep watching. Today, I'll show you the exact system that will break you out of this cycle, and you'll meet the real people who reclaim $10,000, $12,000, even $15,000 without sacrificing the things they love. And if you stick with me to the end, I'll give you my free worksheet to help you instantly redirect your mental bandwidth toward wealth-building moves you can make this week. Let's kick off your new financial chapter right now. Let's zoom in for a second. You know that sinking feeling when you buy something as small as a $5 coffee, a moment of guilt that gnaws at you longer than it should. Or maybe it's a quirky $3 app or a new streaming subscription. You feel the twinge. Then the mental debate. Do I cut it? Track it? Obsess over every dollar out. I call this the mosquito bite of money anxiety. And for millions of people, it's become a way of life. But here's what really baffles me. While we spend 80% of our time agonizing over $5 decisions, most of us sleep like babies after agreeing to $50,000 mortgages, signing off on student loans, or auto-renewing four-figure insurance premiums. The people with real wealth? They aren't wasting a single brain cell on small purchases. What's going on here? Why does almost all your financial stress revolve around 5% of your real financial risk? And why are you letting the big-ticket moves coast silently by? This is what I call the mental bandwidth trap. For the middle class, it's often the single silent killer of wealth and happiness. So what is mental bandwidth in the first place? And how does it shape your whole money life? Picture it like the battery on your phone. You get only so many cognitive hours every day to make tough decisions, resist small spending temptations, and actually plan your next big move. But each moment you spend hunting for a coupon, debating over $5, or logging little purchases into a spreadsheet, you're draining your battery on background apps. The core danger. If you let micro-tracking run down your mental battery, you'll never have enough energy left for the financial GPS, the moves that take you from paycheck to feeling in control for good. First, let me show you what this looks like in real life. Meet Jessica, a marketing analyst in her mid-30s living in Chicago. Now, Jessica is disciplined. She tracks every coffee, snack, and subscription with the precision of a NASA engineer. She reads all the blog posts about cutting out small costs, feels proud every time she skips delivery, and can tell you within 50 cents how much she spent on takeout this month. But here's the twist. Jessica spends zero time reviewing her annual performance at work, has never checked if her market pay matches her skills, and avoids tough conversations about her value. All her bandwidth is poured into controlling the $5, but the $50,000 opportunity? That's completely ignored. Her wake-up moment comes after another night spent sweatily balancing receipts by the laptop glow. She stumbles onto her company's published salary bands, standard HR transparency, and just like that, realizes she's earning $12,000 less than people in comparable roles. Take a breath. All those skipped lattes, all those spreadsheet acrobatics, and she's lost more in 1 year than 5 years worth of coffee runs. Instead of pouring more energy into smaller and smaller cuts, she redirects her focus. Jessica devotes a couple weeks to researching market rates, prepping her case, and booking a meeting with her manager. One conversation, $10,000 raise. That single move wipes out years of coffee sacrifice. That's what shifting your bandwidth toward high-leverage decisions looks like. And it's possible for almost anyone willing to make the switch. If that story hits home, leave a comment below and tell me, have you ever obsessed over a $5 purchase while missing a chance to earn more? I want to see just how many of us have fallen into this trap. Let's step back for a second. Why do so many of us make this mistake? It's a universal human tendency called small sand syndrome. Imagine you're looking at two problems. One is huge, like reviewing your $50,000 salary, optimizing your 401k, or refinancing your mortgage. The other is small, like chopping the Netflix subscription or skipping the morning pastry. Which do you pick? Your brain, hardwired for immediate rewards, always gravitates to the small, winnable battle. Cutting the streaming service might save you $15 a month, $180 a year. It feels good, immediate, doable. That little surge of accomplishment? It's dopamine. But while you chase that tiny win, the real monster, the big, uncomfortable, life-changing opportunity goes untouched. Let me give you another concrete example. There's Mark, a 42-year-old public school teacher who became nearly obsessed with shaving expenses. One day, Mark decides his $15 per month music subscription has to go. Saving $180 a year feels like a tidy victory, especially against the backdrop of a busy, stressful life. But here's what went ignored. For 5 years straight, Mark avoided a tough chat with his union rep about negotiating a salary increase that could have brought in an extra $3,000 every single year. That avoidance, a $15,000 missed opportunity, all for less than $1,000 in small savings. Comment a money emoji below if you've ever procrastinated on the big stuff but chased little wins. This isn't just my opinion. A mountain of research backs it up. Data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics in 2023 showed that workers who successfully negotiate raises are likely to see cumulative gains exceeding $40,000 over a decade, compared to those who simply accept standard cost of living increases. The same holds true in every major lever you could pull. Small, recurring wins feel like progress, but meanwhile, you're stuck in place, treading water while the people pulling big levers lap you every year. Ready for the concrete numbers? Let's break this down so you can see how much is at stake. Suppose you buy a $5 coffee every weekday. That's $25 a week, or about $1,300 each year, and $6,500 over 5 years. Stings a little, sure, but now imagine investing 10 hours of mental energy instead into negotiating a 5% raise on a $60,000 salary. That's a $3,000 bump in the first year alone. Stretch it over 5 years, even without counting compounding raises or investing that difference. And you're up at least $15,000. Factor in compounding promotions or investment returns, and the difference dwarfs anything you could sacrifice on coffee. Remember, this isn't financial advice. Just educational math. Past performance doesn't guarantee future results, and always consult a licensed advisor for your personal situation. Here's your progress marker. So far, we've seen how the $5 focus cost you $50,000, and you've met Jessica and Mark, two people who made the switch. But there's an even deeper reason why media, culture, and yes, entire financial industries fixate on encouraging you to cut little costs. Because when you're tired and distracted by micro decisions, you'll never question the status quo. Let's pull back the curtain. Here's why the mental bandwidth trap dominates society. There's a three-part system always at work. First, the culture of cutting. Everywhere you look, blogs, TV, social feeds, it's drop the avocado toast, cut streaming, cancel the gym. These aren't coincidences. Media outlets, often sponsored by companies that profit when you ignore your own earning power, have no incentive to teach you how to negotiate a raise or optimize your taxes. Shaming you over a daily $5 coffee sells more ads than teaching complex, life-changing financial strategies. Their mission? Keep you focused on minor misery, so you keep coming back for small fixes. Priya's story drives this home. At 29, during a spurt of financial stress, she laser-focused on slashing her $12 per month gym membership. She researched free alternatives and felt accomplished, while missing that her student loan interest was tacking on $1,500 extra every year. The $144 annual gym savings was nothing compared to the hidden drain in the background. If you've been Priya, drop focus in the chat. Let's support each other. Now, Anna wrote to me last year saying, "Jim, I followed your steps, called my insurer, and dropped my premiums by $400 in 20 minutes. I'd spent years sweating takeout bills, but one phone call did more for my peace of mind than a year's worth of fast food cuts." Second, the complexity barrier. The big levers: income negotiation, tax optimization, debt attack, are complex on purpose. They come with legal forms, jargon, spreadsheets, tough conversations, maybe even the fear of paying for expert help. Your brain, craving ease, defaults back to the tiny, easy win. Track every grocery receipt and feel accomplished. But that third, the immediate gratification loop. When you save $5 on coffee, you see it in your account today. That immediate feedback is addictive. But invest 10 hours in reading up on 401k strategy or scheduling a meeting with a tax expert, and you might not see results until next year's tax refund or performance review. It's easy to bail water out of the Titanic with a teaspoon minute by minute, while ignoring the giant hole in the hull. Here's a curiosity loop. What three $50,000 levers could transform your money life if you spent only 10 hours on each? In a minute, I'll show you real examples and even give you the worksheet I use with my own coaching clients so you can replicate their shift. Let's move to the central chapter. It's time to put your mental bandwidth to work on offense. Here are the three $50,000 levers high earners never ignore. Chapter 1. The income lever. Your biggest asset. The real engine of your wealth? It's not your house, your investments, or even the right index fund. It's your ability to earn. Here's the truth. Most people haggle harder over a car price than they do over their own paycheck, even though a 5% raise on a $60,000 salary is $3,000 a year. If you park at that job for a decade, never renegotiating, you've potentially lost $30,000 or more. Now, CNBC's 2022 survey found that people who negotiate for starting salaries and annual raises see average bumps of $5,000, compared to those who take what's offered. Those higher base salaries also compound, affecting every future raise and bonus. Action for you. Stop seeing your job as a series of tasks and start treating your salary as your most valuable, negotiable asset. Allocate 10 hours in the next 30 days, research salary data. Document your results, rehearse your conversation, and put the meeting on the calendar. And if you've ever made the leap, comment below. What's the best raise you ever negotiated? And here's a story from the Jim Invest community. Khalil wrote, I downloaded your negotiation checklist, practiced with my partner, and finally asked for a raise. The answer was no that time. But 6 months later, during my review, my boss brought it up, and I got a $7,000 increase. Don't forget, download my free high-leverage wealth moves checklist from the link in the description. It covers every step for salary negotiation, tax optimization, and debt reduction. You'll want it on hand when you take action. Chapter 2. The Tax Lever. Your biggest expense. Here's what you might not realize. Most working Americans pay more in taxes than on housing, food, and clothing put together, but barely anyone even tries to optimize them. Simple strategic use of retirement accounts. 401k, HSA, IRA, and standard or strategic deductions can lower your taxes by 1 to 2% of gross income. If you earn $80,000, finding 2% in tax savings gives you $1,600 more each year. Over $20,000 saved in a decade. IRS aggregate data from 2021 showed that taxpayers who took advantage of retirement contributions and plan deductions saved an average $1,300 more per year than others. That's real money most people leave on the table. So here's what I want you to do. Don't just auto-file your taxes in 20 minutes and hope for the best. Spend the bandwidth to understand your biggest single expense. Research or meet with a tax specialist even just once, or leverage advanced tax software to spot deductions and legal tools you're missing. The difference over time is often worth $15,000 to $25,000 or more. If you want my complete tax optimization worksheet, grab it from the description. Let's highlight a viewer win. Maria, a self-employed subscriber, shares, just by opening a solo 401k after your video and contributing what I could, I saved $1,900 on my tax bill last year. Wish I'd known years earlier. Remember, investing in tax tools and even the accounts themselves carries rules and risks. This is educational only, not financial advice. Results will vary, so check with a licensed professional for your situation. Past performance doesn't guarantee future results. Chapter 3. The Debt and Big Invisible Cost Lever. Plug the hidden drains. Your 3 biggest, most invisible money monsters are high-interest debt, insurance premiums, and the interest rates on housing or automobiles. Let's zoom into the math. If your credit card balance is $10,000 with a 22% APR, you're bleeding $2,200 a year on interest alone, almost $6 a day. Skip 5 years of refinancing, and you'll have burned over $11,000 with nothing to show for it. By comparison, shaving your coffee spend looks like a joke. Insurance is another killer. When was the last time you called to compare rates? Many of our viewers have saved $400, $700, sometimes $1,000 per year with one afternoon's effort. According to a 2023 Harvard Business Review analysis, proactive insurance shoppers cut average premiums by $700 annually. Refinancing loans, especially mortgages, can also save $50 to $300 per month, adding up to thousands a year. Action. Take 3 hours this weekend. Call your insurance company. Check your target. Just one small win. A 10% savings on any major expense. Perhaps $20 a month or more. It's guaranteed savings, recurring every month, and dramatically more impactful than weeks of skip lattes. One more real story. Dave from our comments posted, switched home and auto insurance after a reminder in your last video. $620 back in my pocket this year. That pays for a vacation a lot faster than my old coupon habit. By now, you see the pattern. The wealthy don't stress daily purchases. They spend their bandwidth tuning the 3 big levers: income, tax, and debt. They ignore the noise and focus where the money truly flows. But we need to talk about something even bigger: the hidden cost of the mental bandwidth trap. The price you pay in time and health, not just cash. First, the 500-hour trap. Be honest. How many hours do you sink into tracking expenses, checking bank apps, reading budget blogs, or doubting every shopping trip? If you spend just 10 hours per week, that's 500 hours a year. That's a full college semester or more, spent sweating small money instead of acquiring a new skill, meeting with advisors, starting a profitable side hustle, or just relaxing with family. Imagine what you could accomplish with 500 reclaimed hours per year. If this realization hits you, screenshot this section and share it. We need to spread the word. Second, the health cost. The cortisol tax. Chronic stress isn't just about fatigue. It's physical. Every time you fixate on micro expenses, your brain releases cortisol, the stress hormone. Over time, it raises blood pressure, suppresses the immune system, and leads to total burnout, all born of worrying about $5 while letting big dollars slip out the back door. The wealthy avoid this not because they're born lucky, but because they learn to shift their focus. They preserve their cognitive energy for high-impact moves. Want to know if you're caught in this trap? Here's a gut check. You have a $60,000 car with a $1,200 a month payment, but you still double-check your balance before getting gas. On paper, you might look comfortable, but deep down, you're burning out. Rich in appearances, bankrupt in peace of mind. Here's the big summary moment. The purpose of money isn't to endlessly lower your checking balance or grind over spreadsheets. It's to maximize your freedom and minimize anxiety. You have the potential to build real wealth, but only if you stop majoring in minor things. So what are your first action steps? It's all about reclaiming your bandwidth and putting it to high-value work. Here are the 3 moves that change everything. Action 1. Set a guilt-free spending budget. Starting today, stop tracking every minor purchase. Give yourself permission to spend a set amount each week. 50, 75, whatever fits your lifestyle, on anything you enjoy. Lattes, quick lunches, entertainment. Don't track receipts. Don't stress. This is about reclaiming mental space and stopping the cortisol grind. If you spend $6 on Tuesday, you know you've got 44 left for the week. The rest of your energy is already earmarked for big lever work. Action 2. Schedule your income conversation. If the single biggest lever is your income, you need to face it head on. Forget rehearsing your script. Just commit to the smallest first step. Open your calendar and schedule a conversation with your supervisor in the next 30 days. Don't call it a raise request. Frame it as a career roadmap discussion. This mental shift makes your big goal tangible and immediate. Moving the meeting from someday to scheduled is half the work. Action 3. Conduct the Big 3 financial checkup. This weekend, spend 3 focused hours on your major fixed costs: housing, transportation, and insurance. Call your auto or home insurance agent. Check up on mortgage rates and review your loan APRs. The target is a repeatable 10% saving on any one major expense. If you reduce your car insurance from $200 a month to $180, that $20 is guaranteed. It recurs, and you haven't skipped a single coffee. Download my mental bandwidth reallocation worksheet in the description. Use it to map where your worry currently lives. Then transfer focus to where it produces real dollars. If you've realized your focus has been on the wrong lever, let me know in the comments. Where have you wasted the most mental energy this year? Income, taxes, or debt? Which lever will you tackle first? Progress check. Here's what you've gained so far. You know exactly how the $5 mental bandwidth trap works. You've learned the big 3 levers for wealth. You've got clear step-by-step action items. And you have 2 free downloads in the description to make your next moves easier. If you want even more support, subscribe to Jim Invests right now so you never miss a strategy update, and turn on notifications for my next deep dive, where I'll show you exactly how to identify the highest ROI index funds for passive wealth building, with all the historical risk and return data broken down. Remember, this is educational content only. Past performance never guarantees future results. Your situation is unique, so talk to a licensed pro before you make big moves. A final thought. The greatest return you'll ever earn isn't just financial. It's the freedom that comes from finally ignoring the $5 guilt trip and reclaiming control over your future. I'll see you in the next chapter of your financial journey. Let's quickly recap the system that breaks the $5 mental bandwidth trap for good. You've learned how obsessing over tiny costs trades away $50,000 opportunities, how high leverage moves in income, taxes, and debt can radically reshape your financial path. And you've walked through exact actionable steps to reallocate your scarce mental energy where it pays off most. Your immediate next step is simple. Set a weekly, guilt-free spending budget and stick to it, so the small stuff no longer eats up your day. Then, within 7 days, schedule your first career roadmap discussion with your supervisor, or carve out time to dig into your tax and debt numbers. Download my checklist and worksheet from the description. They'll keep you on track. Over the next 30 to 90 days, focus on making tangible progress on one of the 3 big levers: income, tax, or debt, and check back every month to see your actual gains, not just your savings. 6 to 12 months from now, if you consistently direct your focus to these wealth moves and stay disciplined, you could notice less stress and potentially more dollars in your account. Not because of sacrifice, but because of strategy. Here's when you'll start to see results. Just making your first high-leverage step, booking a negotiation, conducting your financial checkup, or implementing your guilt-free budget can bring relief in days or weeks. Bigger savings and income bumps might start stacking up within 1 to 3 months. and the psychological benefits will show up even sooner.
Give yourself the grace to make gradual, strategic progress.
That's how the truly wealthy build real security and peace of mind. If you want more tools, make sure you're subscribed to Jim Invests. Next video, I'll do a deep dive on building passive wealth with index funds, and I'll roast the biggest retirement mistakes I see every year. If you're ready to start focusing on $50,000 wealth moves, hit subscribe, smash that like button for more content, and comment which lever you're committing to this week. And don't forget to download the worksheets. They're my free gift to help you win starting today. One final reminder. All stories in this video are illustrative, and while the numbers are real examples, results will always vary. This was for education, not advice. So before you start negotiating income, restructuring debt, or changing your tax approach, talk to a licensed advisor and review your unique financial context.
Past performance doesn't guarantee future results,
But refocusing your energy can always boost your peace of mind. Thanks for making it to the end. See you next time for more actionable wealth moves.